Students, today we'll cover another poem from your class 10 syllabus from your book First Flights, and the poem's name is Amanda. It is written by Robert Cleven. In this particular video, we'll be covering the summary, the meanings of the difficult words, the poetic devices, and the messages. It's a very beautiful poem. I'm sure you would like it, so listen to it very carefully. The poem Amanda, composed by Robert Cleven, is about a small girl whose parents are forever nagging her about what to do and what not to do. This frequent interference makes her very unhappy. It seems as if she is not free to do anything that she wants to do. She wants freedom from all these restrictions. She dreams to lead a life of a mermaid in a languid emerald sea, with her being the only inhabitant there. She feels that an orphan has more freedom than her. She also wishes to lead a calm and a quiet life in a tower like that of Rapunzel, where nobody will be able to disturb her. So, whenever her mother used to scold her, she used to go into her own fantasy world and think as if she is sometimes a Rapunzel or a mermaid or even an orphan, because she personally believes that an orphan is also free and she is not free, and she is actually so much nagged by her mother that she feels that the life of an orphan is better off than her. Now, coming to the poem, the first stanza: don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop the slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. Now, hunch means bend, and slouching means sitting in a lazy way. So, the poet is describing Amanda, a little girl who is always pointed out by her mother for her mistakes and how she imagines her life to be. The poet says that the mother is pointing out Amanda for not biting nails, which is a bad habit. Next, she asks her to sit straight without bending her shoulders. Amanda, who has a habit of bending her shoulders and sitting lazily, is being pointed out because her mother wants her to sit in the right posture. Now, coming to the poetic devices in this particular stanza: don't bite, don't hunch. If you see, the word don't appears in the first line and the second line. So, whenever there is a word repeating in the beginning of the line, the poetic device used is anaphora. So, that is a poetic device, anaphora, which has been used. And the word Amanda, if you see, Amanda comes in the first line, the second line, and even last word is Amanda. So the word Amanda is being repeated, so the poetic device used is repetition. Coming to the next stanza: there is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitants is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. Now Amanda goes into a beautiful world, her own world of dreams and fancies. Now languid means lacking energy. Emerald means green color. It's a stone as well, a precious stone, which is beautifully green and dark green in color. Inhabitant means resident. Soul means only. Drifting means carried slowly by the water. Blissfully means happily. At this time, Amanda imagines herself as a mermaid swimming freely and joyously in the light green sea. She wants to live a calm and a relaxing life in the beautiful green sea. Amanda imagines herself as a mermaid swimming freely and joyously in the light green sea. She wants to live a calm and a relaxed life in this beautiful green sea. Now, coming to the poetic devices, the emerald sea means is uh, the sea color is being compared with that of an emerald. So, since there is a comparison without the usage of as or like, so the poetic device used is metaphor. Stop the slouching, sit up straight. Sir, sir, sir has been repeated in stop, slouching, and sit. So the poetic device is alliteration. And again, the word Amanda has been repeatedly being used. Now, did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your house. Amanda, here the poet says that Amanda's mother is inquiring her about whether she has done her homework or not. She seems to be very concerned. And then she asks her whether she has cleaned her room or not. Moreover, she is also reminded to clean her shoes. So, if you see that mother is constantly nagging and checking Amanda all the time. So, the poetic device is being used. Anaphora with the use of did you. The first and the second line begin with did you. I told you in the previous stanza also, if the same word, the line begins with the same word, so the poetic device used is anaphora. And since the word Amanda is being repeated, so the poetic device is Amanda, is repetition. Now coming to the third stanza, I'm an orphan roaming the street, I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. Amanda has another daydream in which she imagines herself as an orphan, wandering freely, barefoot in the golden silence and uninterrupted freedom. She utters that she would have enjoyed the freedom then by making the patterns of her bare feet on the sand. She would live a peaceful life, so we can see that she thinks opposite to her mother. Her mother wants her to keep everything neat and clean, but Amanda wants to play in the dust with her bare feet. Moreover, she's also fed up of these constant instructions from her mother that she says silence is golden, which means she craves for peace and tranquility. She further says that freedom is sweet. This means she never feels free with her mother around. Now, coming to the poetic devices, if you see that silence is golden, silence is said to be glorious like the golden color. So the poetic device used is metaphor. So silence is compared to golden. So since there is a comparison without the usage of as or like, it is metaphor. Coming to the next stanza, don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda. Will you please look at me when I am speaking to you, Amanda? Now, acne means pimples. This is a very common sign for children when they are getting old. So they tend to have this hormonal changes which take place in their body. So the mother forbade Amanda not to eat chocolates because of her acne and pimples. So actually it is believed that acne tend to be aggravated with cocoa or chocolate. So her mother is again concerned about her looks. The mother also rebukes her for not looking at her while she is talking to her. So again, we can see that Amanda does not approve of her mother's behavior. So the word repetition of the word Amanda, the poetic device used is repetition. Now the Amanda again goes into her dream world. She starts thinking as if she's Rapunzel. Rapunzel, I have not a care. Life in a tower in tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. So whenever the poet here has tried to distinguish between what in reality and what in the by putting the words in brackets. Whenever Amanda goes into her dream world, whenever she's thinking, the poet has used those words in brackets. If you can see, the entire stanza is in brackets. So the poet here talks about Amanda's dream world. So clearly, Amanda is enjoying another dream that now she fantasizes herself as Rapunzel. Rapunzel was a girl. She used to stay in a tower. She has very long golden hair. Is a character from a fairy tale and wants to live like her in a huge tower peacefully. She dreams that she will never let down her hair from the tower like Rapunzel. In the tower, she will live all alone and peacefully. She will never allow anyone to come to the tower. Now, come to that next stanza. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You're always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. So this is the final stanza in which the mother says, ask Amanda to stop sulking. Sulking means be in a bad mood or expressing offense by remaining silent. When somebody doesn't retaliate, you're saying something and the other person doesn't speak. So you generally say the person is sulking. So a nag means harass. So Amanda's mother now warns her for behaving in a very odd manner. She asks her to stop being in a bad mood. Moreover, she blames her for having such an unstable mood. She also scolds her by saying that her behavior will one day make people think that Amanda was constantly being harassed by her mother. So here we can say that though Amanda is always pointed out by her mother for every small thing, but she can't react to this. If she reacts towards this by getting emotional, her mother takes this against her sense of pride and scolds her that she should not be behaved like this, as others would think that Amanda's mother is very dominating towards her child. This constant nagging has made her so upset that she has even stopped dreaming of herself as someone else. She had always tried this only in order to escape from the continuous harassment and dominance of her parents. Now, coming to that, the words, the poetic devices, stop that sulking, words have been repeated, so it is alliteration. Repetition of the word Amanda is also there. Now coming to the message, the poet wants to convey that parents, in their endeavor to make the children well behaved, give them too many instructions or nag them, always try to find faults in them. They should instead adopt positive measures acceptable to children. This poem also conveys that children need to be allowed more freedom. Excessive nagging may make them disobedient and defiant, and they turn a deaf ear to the instructions of the elders. They develop a kind of dislike for the real life and start escaping into the world of dreams and imagination. So I hope you've understood this particular poem, and I hope parents will take a cue from it and know, and they will stop nagging their children altogether. Okay, happy learning. If please do like, share my video if you really like this poem. Thank you.